Right, okay, folks. I'll be starting at 11 p.m. We're currently 3 minutes away from official start. Oh, that's good. That's good. That just. Hello, the first person to be officially notified on the wee counter there. We'll be starting in approximately 2 minutes' time. And anybody that hasn't been officially noted on the wee counter thing up at the top, we will be starting in approximately 2 minutes' time. T minus 1 minute. This is Ribena for anyone who didn't know. Just using the kitchen, alright? What did you say? Just using the kitchen for a bit, right? Ah, well. Oh, well, we're about to get kicking off the video. Right, okay, we're going to get started. Anybody that comes in later on in the video can watch it from where they start off from, or watch it when the live comes to an end and see the whole thing. Anyway, it's up to your own thing. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Right, so Hugh Edwards. Now, when I look at him on the telly in the previews, yes, he did look familiar. And no, he didn't ask me for arse pictures costing £35,000. But anyway, okay, let's start a very, very quick start. Although I was going to go one way, I kind of diverted back down. Right, Hugh Edwards. Hugh in a right mind spells Hugh like that. H-U-W, no, it's H-U-G-H. I've also heard of H-0-0-G-H as in H-O-O-G-H. Right, that's absolutely fine, but H-U-W? What is that shite all about? But anyway, we'll possibly find that one out as well. So, we've been hearing over the last week about this person given £35,000 for arse pictures, and the person getting the money end up spending the money on cocaine and getting shit faced and addicted. And the mother came forward and said, "This is what's been going on. I've got receipts, I've got emails, I've got proof." And this was kind of like known to towards the BBC in May, and they only decided to start dealing with it now. I think that is fucking mental. Actually, it's been sitting on a desk for about 7 weeks. Allegedly, I actually tell, yeah, it was 7 weeks. and people started trying to draw conclusions as to who it was, and some brainless tit bag, that's the only way to describe it, actually said the name by sheer accident. There was a Freudian slip, and boom, there it was. And then boom, today it was confirmed. But the interesting thing was Hugh's girlfriend or wife said he's gone to a mental health facility because he's got severe depression and has had a history of severe depression. So he's away. And the odd thing I seen right away from that statement was three words: for the foreseeable. Now, a guy that has had anxiety and severe depression in his life and a hospital stay at the nearest mental health hospital close to me, as in myself, you know, she has some very interesting word structures there, right? She said for the foreseeable, like, everything in life is temporary, right? And mental health illness is no exception to be honest. You know, when I was in mental health hospital, I seen people in some harrowing states, but they all generally tend to get out between 1 month and 3 months. And there's one person that was only in there for 3 days. I don't know exactly what the setup there was, but ultimately everyone does get to a point where their symptoms are a hell of a lot more managed and they can cope with everyday life scenarios thereon after. It's just, going in for mental health care isn't a be all end all, and that's it. All the that goes on in their life, and I thought that woman's wording was extremely interesting to say the least. I mean, the thing is, you know, she does say, "Oh, he's had mental health struggles in the past, haven't we all?" Right. The thing is, as I say, it was only 24 hours ago he was sending texts to people to say, not to mention X, Y, or Z, or their life won't be worth living. Right. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but to send a text like that, you've got to have quite a compass mentis mind. You've got to actually have what you call cognitive function. And the way she's talking today, he has no cognitive function. He would have implying no ability to work a phone, let alone a set of cutlery. Right? So it's very, very weird, contradicting things going on. And yeah, I really do want to hammer heavy down on the contradictories of the mental health story. Whether the reality was the lawyer actually said to her, get him put in mental health care so he doesn't need to answer the questions, or was it her idea that take him out the house, put him in a mental health care unit, shade him away from the heat? I don't know the exact disc. I don't really believe the whole mental health suffering story. I don't really believe it at all, actually. Now, what I will certainly say is, mental health wards. As I say, I've been in one before, as everyone will probably realise. But these places can get incredibly hostile and het up at a very, very, very least moment. I'm just going to take a wee second to read this message. Mike, Mike, hi. What's my view on the more recent Transformers movie? This is a nice wee digression, by the way. Cheers. Uh, I would say it actually was pretty fucking good. I went in there, into my nearby one cinema called what's it called? Not the Odeon, that one in Clydebank, right? And I was like, oh, it's going to be a lot of pish, but there was a lot of stuff I really liked, and I really did like the character Mirage. He was a wee cheeky shite in it, but let's be honest, some of the most cheeky shites out there are funny. Oh, hi. Oh, hiya. Hi, Margaret. Yeah, the Transformers movie was absolutely it was refreshing. That's the best way to put it. It was absolutely refreshing. Like I put right. That's 100% way I can put it in a nice wee sentence. They obviously refer to the what you call the Generation One ways the characters were built and ran with it, and it was really nice. And there wasn't any of that, the humans fighting with each other and politics getting involved and science getting involved. It was just bot on bot fighting. It was very very nice. So yeah, excellent digression, Mike. This is why I like to comment in box, by the way. Yeah. So yeah. So in that general summarization, the guy's wife, Hugh's wife, taking him to a mental health hospital. I think it could be an idea that could reverberate the opposite way, because as I say, these places can be kind of hostile environments at times, and if the schizophrenics, the bipolar, the PTSD people get wind there's a nonce on the ward, that's going to be fucking hell. It doesn't matter if it's a private hospital, an NHS hospital, or something totally off my radar. It's going to be absolute hell. So yeah, it's just oh man, but yeah, the BBC they did their best hiding the name, but it was like one lady. It was last night, and uh, she accidentally slipped it out, and unfortunately, it's a bit like letting the horse out after it gets bolted, etc. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But I think it was. And then they said they were performing a full investigation and it's now exhausted. Pish. Absolute pish. It's just slacktivism, to be honest. What have I missed? Who is Hugh? Oh, hi, Margaret. Hugh is a very high ranked BBC talent. They call him talent, but he's been up to some very, very naughty things. And Mike's asked me, have I got any collector transformers? Yes, I actually do. My room's an homage to Transformers. Maybe one day we'll fire a camera around the room and see what happens. But yeah, excellent, Mike. Yeah, so I think the way that we call it the beep, BEEB, have dealt with this is just truly shocking, and it's absolutely cringy. I mean, if it was any other company, like let's say, for instance, it's maybe the city council, and you know what happened with that guy that got busted as he was doing his job as a street cleaner? That old geezer, he's not allowed anywhere near the city chambers or any other Glasgow City Council premises entirely. So that's where things are at. It's summer, sun's out, bums out. Uh, each their own, but if you've got 35k to defy my direction, only kidding, you know. We've got to make cure in some of the darker situations, eh? I'm just getting myself a wee drink. But BBC completely mishandled it, as per usual. The whole Scove thing, there's a lot of stuff regarding Scove going on, and there's a lot of stuff approaching the surface. Uh, why it hasn't completely came to the surface regarding ITV, I don't quite know. There's a lot of people in high positions shushing a lot of stuff up. To be honest, do you know who Alpha K Body is? No, sorry, Mike, I don't. And if a company works efficiently, they are accountable for every level all the way up the metaphorical tree, not just kind of go, wait a minute, wait a minute, we'll shit on them and put them on a high pedestal. There are so many examples of this kind of, I take a shit in this group of people and put the other in the highest pedestal possible, right across industries, art forms, you name it. It's fucking disgusting. You wonder why I keep myself to myself, eh? Oh, definitely, Margaret. Hi, Mike. What is ligma? Ligma, boss. Oh, funny as fuck. Well, to be honest, if we didn't have comedy somewhere interspliced, and it would be fucked. It would be absolutely fucked. I mean, the thing is, although this is a serious topic and that shit, where there is a situation possible to have comedy somewhere, of course it's going to be welcomed. Of course, absolutely with open arms. Uh, this guy Hugh's wife, I I strongly suspect she sent him away to get away from the heat. But to be honest, I don't think this is the best thing because, as I said, you know, if people realise what's going to be in their ward, they could get quite defensive and probably beat the living shite out of him, which he probably much duly deserves, quite frankly. But as I said earlier in a previous part of the film or podcast or whatever you like to call this, I've been in a mental health care hospital before, right? I know, I know how it'll analyze and all that stuff. But the thing is, to move over to a slightly different bit, right? To actually get somebody into a psychiatric care ward is fucking difficult, especially at the NHS level. And if you're thinking, fuck going to NHS, I'm going to a private. No, you actually have to get triaged at a mental health hospital belonging to the NHS before they take you elsewhere. And that's if they decide you are candidate for elsewhere. You know, it's not as cut and easy going, la 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 la, off to Friday. Right? No. Oh, yeah, definitely, Mike. Yeah, I mean, because of my experience, when I was tried to get put into mental health care, it actually it, it took two it took two contact attempts at contact to actually get. me in. The first time around, they took me and left me in a A&E ward on top of a bed for 11.5 hours, only to be told, "Oh no, you're just a little sleep deprived. Off you go home." End of the matter. Right. The next time was round two, and that was up at the local mental health clinic up in where I stay. And what happened was, basically, they did the assessment, which they should have done up in the Royal Infirmary, but they are too dumb up there to know how to do a MHA assessment. So that got done there, and the person who was with me was my mum, and they took a look at the bag that she was putting on my back, and they were like, "What is that? What is that bag? What's it got in there?" And my mum said, "He's going to hospital because he needs care." And after a wee bit of trying to gaslight my mum, I don't even like using that term gaslighting, me, I never use it again. I eventually left the room and made a few phone calls, and then a bed was given. And then thereon after, we were told to get a taxi up to whatever hospital was they were referring me to. Yeah, definitely, Maggie. They shouldn't let people like that into mental hospitals. It's going to just cause sincere mayhem. I mean, if that is a priority hospital, priority mental health hospitals are quite high standard. It's not just like e.g. Leverdale, where when someone goes up to Leverdale, they get packed into any ward and little care or considerations put in thereon after, right? It doesn't quite 100% work out like that. The rooms in a priority room, uh, indeed, yep. Uh, um, the rooms in a priority room are like your rooms you find in an average house, just with a few adaptations here and there where you can't jump off things, and lights are basically like non-hanging lights, are just like these big discs you see on like commercial buildings, stuff like that. But yeah, if he's going to be in that kind of environment, he's not going to last long. Right? If he's in an environment like Leverdale, he may last longer there, but they would have to put very specific arrangements in. To be fair, they would have to maybe shut half the ward off. And to be honest, that is a logistical fucking nightmare. Anywhere like that, Naval, the Leverdale, Dyke Bar, anything like that, it would be a total logistical nightmare to shut half a ward off so he can be cared in peace. Aye, Pedo gets a piece. Fuck's sake. But it really does burn my digits, really. Right? What? Yes, Maggie, I do remember you. Uh, yeah, it's just absolutely it's mental. It's mental, that decision. I think that was a decision orchestrated by this Hugh Edwards. What's it called? Hugh Edwards, solicitor, and piped down to the missus, and the missus has said, "Come on, boy, come on, went into the car. We're going for an easy drive. Put me in the back. Don't use two sets of seatbelts because you'll end up getting aroused." But anyway, drop him off at the nearest priory. They're calling it priory loony bin, but it doesn't quite work out like that. Remember, you have to get your triage at the NHS before anyone considers the priory. But anyway, yeah. See, if he goes to the priory, he's not going to last. And if he's going to go to the NHS facilities for mental health, they're going to have to shut the ward down by half and have him on one side and the remaining 10. Mental health wards are usually 20 bedded units. So if they have to shut off half of the wards, right, they'd have to move all the other 10 to other wards, which would be a total logistical nightmare, and then have him sitting in one of the wee rooms, and the other half, the other 10, I mean, be unchanged. And then they would also have to have like lunch times, the dinner times, and the nighttime feeding times at different times, so neither would interact. But ultimately, it's just a ticking time bomb before someone, maybe a schizophrenic, takes a chair and rams it across his head. Because to be honest, if I was schizophrenic, I would pick up a chair and bash it right across his skull and tell him to fuck off. Nonce is a a choice, not a mental health disorder. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it really does piss me off that he can get into a mental health ward with extreme ease and little or no waiting time. Yet, as I described previously, um, what a struggle it was to get me in a mental health ward when I was suffering actual legitimate mental health concern. It really rubbed me up the wrong way because you hear about the amount of people waiting to go in and get treatment, and they're having to wait up to upwards of 3 years to get treatment, only to be told at like last screening, no, you're not mental enough, or oh, you're too mental for that place. We'll have to take you to another place. It's absolutely outrageous that is happening. Yet pedos can walk in like as if it's their fucking front room. Fuck's sake! Right, that's my wee rant. So over, over and done with of all the serious stuff. And yeah, just kind of this is now the kind of chill out point because yeah, covered everything. They just let anybody into mental health wards nowadays, not thinking about you actually mentally ill. But anyway, so yeah, Thursday tomorrow, I can't fucking believe, to be honest. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, it's been nice to see a face or two from the past, Margaret. Nice to see you. How have you? Aye, it has been about 13 years. I've been alright. I've been busy, busy, busy working and just basically not having a second to myself because how busy I am. But aye, apart from that, I'm alright. Yeah, it's finally found a bit of work that one is local, two is not 0 hours, and three is a regular working shift. And next week I'm on holiday, so hell yeah. So who knows if I'm going to be actually who knows if I'm actually going to be doing it in particular if I'm on holiday or not. All right. How am I? Is it? How are you, Baldy? How are you, Baldy? Probably stressing about you. Right. So just having a wee look. I think to be honest, what I'll do is I'll bring the live to a close. Thanks for joining. Uh, so yeah, until the next drama on the world happens, I'll love you and leave yous.